Okay, in this video, we'll be showing you the classification of data structures. So data structures can be broadly classified into two categories. Number one is linear and number two is non-linear. Now, under linear data structures, you have arrays, linked lists, stacks, and queues. Linked lists are again of three types. You have single linked list, you have double linked list, and you have circular linked list. Under nonlinear data structures, you have tree and you have graphs. There are other nonlinear data structures as well, but in this video course, I'll be covering only trees and graphs. Okay, now let's try to understand the names. So we have linear data structures and non-linear data structures. Why the name linear? The name is linear because you will be storing data in a straight line fashion, in a linear fashion. So whenever an application requires data to be stored in a straight line fashion or in a linear fashion, like this, let's say your data requires, or your application requires data to be stored in a linear fashion. In a linear fashion, then you would go for a linear data structure, any of these linear data structures. But when your application requires your data to maintain a hierarchy among them, if you want to maintain hierarchical relationship, among your data items, then you would choose a nonlinear data structure. What do you mean by a hierarchical relationship? See, let's say the data that we have is something of this fashion. Okay, so there is a level. See, this is a level. This is another level, another. So you have your various data items organized along various levels. Such organization of data along various levels is known as hierarchical relationship. So if your data requires to maintain a hierarchical relationship, then you would go for a nonlinear data structure. Now that nonlinear data structure may be a tree, or that nonlinear data structure may be a graph. So I hope you have understood the basics behind the classification. Okay, I'll go a step forward and I'll tell you a few things about linked list as well, because in the next video we'll be taking up linked list in depth. So linked list, you can see it's of three types: single, double, and circular. You can pause and make your notes, okay, from time to time. So what is a single linked list? A single linked list will have exactly one link part. Why is a single linked list so called? Why do we call a single linked list a single linked list? It is because every node in a single linked list, we'll see what a node is. Every node in a single linked list will have exactly one link part. That is why it is called a single linked list. Why is it called a double linked list? It is called a double linked list because every node in the linked list has two link parts. And why is it called a circular linked list? A linked list, by default, the last node of a linked list by default will contain its link part, a null value. That denotes the last node, with the exception of circular linked lists. What circular linked lists tell us is the last node, the link part of the last node will not contain null. The link part of the last node will not contain null, as it is the case in single linked lists and double linked lists. Instead, in a circular linked list, the link part of the last node will contain the address of the first node. That is why it is called a circular linked list. Okay, so we'll be taking up linked lists in depth starting from the next video. I hope this helps. If you have any doubts, please feel free to comment in the section given below. Thank you.